Our first panel on this morning was about language and how language shapes attitudes. And we still have a lot of that type of language festering in our community. Lots of things such as, oh, tamalito. No, just because they have a disability doesn't necessarily mean that they're sick or poorly or unwell. If it's a medical condition, it could be, but not necessarily a mobility issue, autism, things like that. We still have a lot of things like, handicapped, angelito, all of those typical words which have a very negative association with it. It's not about, and that's what the panel was saying earlier on, it's not about the words you use, but the intention you use it with. And that's where Gibraltar still needs to come a long way. There's still a lot of what I call a culture of favours in Gibraltar. Are the disabled, so let's do a favour to them and let them do this. No. It's about human rights. It's not about favors. They are people with human rights who deserve to live in our community just like you and I.
The key worker is mainly to have a conversation with family members, families, individuals, and just and listen to them. When I say to have a chat, is just sit there with them and understand if they are going through their struggles. And depending on the questions we ask, depending on the answers they give us, it depends how we can help them out.
I imagine those conversations can be quite difficult at times.
It is, and it's nice when it's the conversation or the meeting ends, because they've come in not knowing what the end of product will be, and they don't understand that. That they've gone in with nothing and they've come out with certain things that will help them out.
We've spoken about this morning. I believe the Minister mentioned something about Sections 13 and 14.
For those who aren't familiar with Sections 13 and 14.
13 and 14 is about the access to and making inclusive buildings and everything else inclusive for the whole of the community. It's completely wrong that I cannot go to a restaurant because there's no access, or I cannot go to a bar because there's no toilet facilities, or I cannot go grab a taxi, for example, because there's only one or two taxis that are available. It's wrong. I want to lead a normal life, in inverted commas, because normal, what does normal mean? But, and whether we like it or not, legislation has to come into power, because without legislation, you rely on the goodwill of people, and you know, there are good architects and good designers, and there are not so good designers and not so good architects. So governments have to introduce Sections 13 and 14 today. It is a must.
From our point of view, what we wanted to be able to do is upskill professionals, most importantly. So if we can give parents an understanding of attachment. So there's two really key words with attachment, which is if a child feels seen and heard. So there's some really interesting systems that you can put in place for a family to ensure that although they are facing adversity, and we know that a lot of our families who do have children with disabilities are going to be under more duress. There's sometimes a lack of resource, there's a lack of time. We know that they need additional support around that. Gibraltar has a fantastic support system here. They have a really good way of being able to care for and support for families. But we need to make sure that that support actually increases that attachment bond, and that families understand what that means.
It's the conference that's been held today that gives us, you know, a platform to express our voice, to continue the advocacy that we do, you know, and that we rally for. And I think it just brings the community together. It advocates for that cohesion as well. It brings everybody into the same room, and we've had open and honest discussions about lived experience, you know, the advice from professionals, and it kind of brings everybody into the same room, and it opens that platform for dialogue. So I think it's been really, really helpful, and it's been really, really good.